Are you done? Is that it?
Are you done? Is that it?
What kind of response is that? If I tell Steve, I'm going to choose you every day, I love you, and I'm crying, I love you, I'm going to choose you every day, you just make me feel so good, blah, blah, blah. And he looks at me and goes, is that it? Are you done? I am going to just gut punch him and just run away. Like, what the fuck is that? I was so mad and so disappointed. And she was just like, yes.
Listener discretion advised. Adult language and mature content.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Two Queens, One Screen. I'm Jen.
I'm Keeley.
And Keeley is mad. And I'm going to make her madder for a little bit because we have stumbled upon something that I didn't know would become such a thing for us. But Keeley, you were telling me about a TikTok that you watched.
Yes. So I watched a TikTok. It was a couple. She asked her husband to settle a debate, and she said, when you get in the shower, to her husband, do you face the water or do you have your back to the water? And he said, I face the water. And she said, no, you don't. You don't waterboard yourself. You put your back to the water, everybody. And she had thousands of comments. No, I turn around, I have my back to the water. No, I face the water. And I thought that is so interesting. So I watched my husband one day and he puts his back to the water and I face the water. I have to face the water. I get in, I face the water. I put my face in the water. I wash off my face. I get my chi-chis and my mimi wet, turn around and get my back wet, get all nice and warm. And then the entire shower, I face the water. And I watched my husband, the entire shower, Steve has his back to the water. And I think that is so freaking weird.
So I face away. I go in, I get my face wet, but like if all my hair, my body, everything as I'm washing, I'm doing the work facing away. And I'm fairly certain now I have to go watch Matt take a shower. I think he faces the shower. And I face away. I don't know. See, this is a debate that I didn't realize was a thing.
Yeah.
Other things, we were talking about it. So now other things have popped up. So I have questions. Yeah. Are you a morning shower or a night shower person?
So I am a morning shower person. Yes. Yes.
I am I work from home. So I'm a middle of the day person, shower, but then it would be like a morning shower. Mm-hmm. But I have recently converted to becoming a night shower person because I'm washing the day away.
Yeah.
And then I get into bed clean. I think that I am a strong proponent of nighttime showers. I think nighttime showers are where it's at. I get needing it to wake up in the morning, but yeah. I think in general, I'm going to be a nighttime shower person.
Yeah. My daughter showers at nighttime, so when we're at her house, it's very strange. Her whole family showers at night. We get up and shower in the morning, and she just looks at us like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you guys doing?" We can't go anywhere, right? She's just waiting for us to shower, and the whole day is stalled because we're showering in the morning. I did not teach her to shower at night. I taught her to shower in the morning.
My boys, we would do a bathroom routine at night.
Yeah.
And then now that it's turned into a bathroom routine at night still, but they have to shower because they're preteens and it stinks so bad. I think we're going to have to do double showers, like one in the morning and one at night soon. But I like it better for them because then I don't have to get them to shower in the morning.
Yeah.
If I had to make them do one more thing in the morning, we would never get to school.
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Okay. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over. I have to be over.
I agree.
Definitely over. Yes.
I don't want to have to feel around for it.
Oh, God, no.
See it. I want to see it right there.
Yes.
I think
yes.
under makes no sense.
No.
Okay, are you a folder or do you wad it up?
No, I think I wad. I'm pretty sure I wad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a folder. We're so different. Who knew? Okay. What about sandwiches? We've had this debate. When you make a grilled cheese, Cheenies use mayo.
Ugh, gross.
To like get the grease.
Yuck. It tastes weird.
Well, okay, mayo or what's the other one? Miracle Whip.
Oh, no Miracle Whip, just mayonnaise.
No.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh.
How do you cut it? If you have to cut a sandwich in half, how do you cut a sandwich in half?
Down the middle.
Oh, diagonal. You need the points for the bites.
Nope.
Oh.
In the middle.
We're not very... Keeley, we could not be married.
Can't do it.
There was another one. You brought up another one.
Towels.
About shoes. Oh God, towels.
Towels and shoes. We can go to shoes first. I thought of Katie Maloney because she is a serial killer with the shoes and the socks, right? So when you put your pants on, right? Pants, and then is it sock, shoe, or is it sock, shoe? Katie Maloney is a serial killer and puts on sock, shoe, people. No.
That's insane. That's
it's
weird.
sock, shoe.
Yeah. No, you got to finish the category. And the category is socks and then shoes.
Right.
Also, I keep my
What?
shoes for the most part by the front door and my socks are in my bedroom. So that's why... Where are her shoes? And then towels. I'm 50-50. I'm flexible with towels.
No.
But you are not.
Absolutely not. No.
To the point that you have refolded all of the towels in your house?
Absolutely.
When Steve does laundry?
Yes. Steve folds the towels the short way. They have to be folded the long way, people.
She does hot dog. Steve folds hamburger. She folds hot dog.
I get violent. I will go in there and refold the entire closet, and he will come in there and just stand there and stare at me. And we have been married for 20 years, and he still doesn't get it. And I'm just so mad at him. I will stand there in the laundry room and just stare at him while he's doing the towels, and he doesn't get it. And I've explained it to him. The towel rack is this way. You have to put the towel the long way. Look, I have a demonstration. The long way. You could put two towels next to each other. Not the short way. We're not doing it. This is serial killer stuff. No.
See, I do it that way because that's what fits the shelf. But I'm thinking about it. I could probably still get it to do the other way, and then it would look smoother on the shelf. I started Marie Kondoing during the pandemic.
Oh, God.
And I started doing the thing where it's like each little shirt is its own thing. And I used to stack, there you go, stacking shirts. I'd fold it, and then they'd be in a stack in my drawer. And then when I wanted to find a shirt, I'd have to lift them up to find the shirt I wanted. I switched to Marie Kondo. And now I can see all my shirts lined up in my drawer, so I know exactly where it is to grab really quick. Yeah. And I'm never going back. So, are you a stacker?
Yes. You're
a stacker.
Yes.
I think it's because of when I have little kids when Marie Kondo hit. And you were already past little kids when Marie Kondo hit.
Yes.
So, you just didn't have the information.
That is true.
It wasn't when your brain was growing.
That's true.
That's what it is. Speaking of growing brains.
Oh, no.
I feel like that was personal growth. I don't know if any personal growth was truly achieved in this grand finale of 90 Day Fiancé Last Resort.
No, I don't think so. 17 episodes. Did we need 17 episodes? I don't know.
And why the number 17? That's
right.
weird.
I really think only 2 couples really made it. Well, I don't know if that's quite the statement, but because I thought Stacey and Florian and Brandon and Julia, but
the whole process of getting there, the finale is the recommitment ceremony.
Yeah.
Which I think they thought was going to be a bit of a spectacle, because it kind of was in season 1. In this one, I feel was kind of like not that big of a deal. It didn't really hit the same because all of the drama was happening behind the scenes. We watched last week. We'll start with Gino and Jasmine. I think we're going to end with Gino and Jasmine too. Yeah. But last week, we saw Gino get on the FaceTime with Jasmine and possible new partner in the open marriage, Matt. And we proceeded to watch the most uncomfortable phone call I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was, without a doubt, the most awkward phone conversation I've ever seen on any reality TV show ever. And, like, we've watched parents die on Real Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched some insane things. We've seen all of the breakups. Watching Gino ask Matt if he'll please use a condom when he's having sex with Jasmine, I was under the blanket. I was so uncomfortable. It was insane to me. For you, what stuck out to you on that? Because I feel like there were so many things.
What stuck out was the last sentence when she says,
when she's trying to hang up.
Oh, she's trying to hang up, and she's like, "Oh, I'll see you when I get back to Michigan. We'll go to the gym." Gino says, "No, you're not going to the gym." And she says, "Oh, right, to have sex."
To have sex then.
Oh, my God.
And she's horrid. Like terrified looking at Gino. Her face when she's looking at, she's like, "Bye, Matt, I guess I'm going to have sex with you when I get back." It was so effing weird.
Yeah.
So this has all come about because Gino has decided the rule is she can't be good friends with him anymore. If they're going to have this open marriage, she can't catch feelings for Matt. Meanwhile, Matt and her have become good friends. Matt is taking her grocery shopping, driving her around, being her emotional support while her husband is rejecting her for the last 9 months. The whole thing is so nuts. I think we've talked about it, Gino's trying to control her, and she's trying to come up with a solution that fits within his rules. And then he just keeps moving the goalposts. He's like, "Yeah, you can have sex with Matt. I think this is, for now, I'm okay with it." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine." He expresses that he's been backed into a corner. He doesn't really have another choice at this point. He doesn't really have an option. He feels pressured into this. Why is Jasmine going to have sex with Matt? It's because she refuses to be in a sexless marriage and Gino refuses to have sex with her.
Yeah.
Here's the part that I didn't pick up on. It didn't occur to me until I started watching the second part of Between the Sheets. He says that she cannot have a connection, an emotional connection with Matt. It needs to be just sex, which everyone turns at her at dinner because Rob is starting to point out, and, if they're following Gino's rules, rightfully so, Gino, she's already got a relationship with him. She needs to start from scratch. She's already connected to him emotionally. And you're saying that they can't have a friendship. They can't have an emotional connection. If feelings start to develop, then it voids the contract. Gino isn't having sex with Jasmine because they don't have an intimate connection right now emotionally. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have trust with her emotionally. She is not allowed to have an emotional, trusting relationship with whoever she has sex with.
Yeah.
And no one is saying this. It doesn't occur to anybody. I'm not going to have sex with you until we're emotionally connected. You can only have sex with him, but you cannot be emotionally connected. What the fuck is Gino doing? It's so insane. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
I just wonder how isolated they are that they've talked about it enough that started to make sense in their minds.
Yeah,
It
but
made me crazy.
But then Jasmine is the villain, right? So in
100%.
all of that, Jasmine is the villain, and then they have a pack mentality and completely attack her.
It was so sad.
It was so sad. And then
everyone's at the bar drinking again.
Yeah.
After is basically they all meet up again at the bar to drink because that's a great idea. That's gone so well every other time they've done it at this resort. And Jasmine goes in going, we're moving forward. He said yes to the open marriage. He and I hugged. She like made him hug her after the phone call. She's like, that was a really uncomfortable phone call. We need to hug. We need to work on our intimacy. And they walk in happy. Both Gino and Jasmine are happy and start explaining what happened. And Rob jumps down their throats. Stacey, who I thought Stacey was on their side. Stacey's like, I agree with Rob.
Yeah.
I think that you need to find someone else to have sex with. And Sophie's on their side. I think Brandon and Julia were the only people that were quiet.
Which in my mind, when you're quiet, you're guilty. If you don't stand up for your friend and say, this is wrong, why are you yelling at her? And take her away from the situation. By you not saying anything, I think you're completely guilty. I know that Jasmine said Julia didn't say anything. I don't want to really include her. And Brandon was basically a lamp and just decoration, which was fine. I think she was trying to be kind. But if it were me and my two friends didn't say anything, I would turn around and be like, you're just as guilty as they are because you didn't stand up for me. That's how I would feel. Yes, 100%. They completely had a pack mentality. They completely attacked her. And she was the villain in the entire thing, which I don't agree with. I felt so bad for her. And then they turned around and in between the sheets and said, oh, she can dish it out, but she can't take it. Are you serious? You still say that about her?
This day, think that.
Yes, still to this day think that. And then poor Reba is watching this entire thing and says, what are you talking about? Women especially have to have a connection and feel trust with someone to be able to be intimate with someone, to be able to have sex with someone. Women cannot have sex with someone they do not have an intimate relationship or are not connected with. They don't want to just have sex with a random person. That's not safe for them. And for you to completely trash her and say, oh, well, she can't have sex with that guy because now she has an emotional connection with him is completely wrong. And
it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. No sense.
That's not how these relationships function. She does go on to say that like she was looking forward to having some representation. And she's like, this isn't what this is. Yeah. This is in no way representative of ethical non-monogamy. Yeah. That's not what this is. They didn't get it. Yeah. And I don't think anyone really did in this. Yeah. The other thing that I want to bring up is you were talking about how her friends didn't back her up. And one of the things that happened in the phone call with Gino and Matt is Gino is talking about how he doesn't want them to have a friendship and have a connection. Matt says, well, here's the deal. It's very difficult for me to see when she's not being treated well to not say something. So he's doing exactly what you're like a good friend does. It's like, she's, I know she's a brat. Yeah. I know that she can do that, but she's delicate and you need to talk to her. If you want to have a conversation with her, you have to have this kind of conversation with her. And Gino does the upside down mouth, closed lip thing. And he goes, I think we should really just keep those conversations between Jasmine and I. He's isolating her even more. This is the one person that she's found that she can have these conversations with. And whether or not that was the appropriate thing or not appropriate thing, she doesn't have anywhere else to go. The only other people that she knows in Michigan are his family. Yeah. She can't have these conversations with his family. That's not okay. Yeah. So he's literally very slyly severing any emotional connection that she has with everybody, including him. Like, taking it away from Matt, making it hard for her to contact her own family. She's not allowed to have friends. He's destroying the one person that she's connected with at all. We know that how this is going to go on, but it was gross watching that fall apart because he was literally dismantling it from the inside. When he is at that bar with everyone, when everyone jumps on Jasmine, especially fucking Rob, he goes, you're right. Canceled. Matt's canceled.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Just in 2 seconds, he can change the rules on her. They can do all this work to build this set of rules and what they're going to do, and he can cut it off in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So gross.
Yep. She has so much courage. I've said this before, to come out in front of all of these people, say all of this vulnerable, very intimate, very personal things in front of all of these people, and they just crucify her. They judge her, they crucify her, they make her a villain, and they pretend to be her friend, and they turn around to her face and are horrible to her. And it is so sad to watch. And he doesn't stand up for her. He doesn't help her. He doesn't do anything for her. And it is terrible. And that's what Reba says. Reba says that's why these groups need their own set of friends that understand how this works, instead of friends that aren't in this type of relationship, because they don't understand what this is like and how hard this is and what it takes to be in this type of relationship. And it was really hard to watch. I felt so bad for her.
She ended up, I think, starting to throw up. She had such an intense panic attack.
Yeah.
After everyone jumped on her and she left. It was really sad.
Yeah. Florian helped her. Yeah.
Florian is the one person that really, I mean, I think Julia after the fact was like, I have no judgment for you. I think Stacey tried to backpedal a little bit. But Florian was there for her, and then goes back to Gino. He's like, you're embarrassing her. You're embarrassing your wife. Gino, you're talking about how you have no choice. You've been backed into a corner. You're the one who created this whole issue. Why is this so hard? And he's like, you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't know what it is. They're both drunk. And at one point, Gino calls Florian a bitch. And they go into fisticuffs. And then the second that there were people holding, at first it was just Brandon holding Gino back. And so Gino, he's like, I can't get through teeny tiny little boy Brandon. But then all these big guys came, like the bouncers from the bar came. And they're holding him back. And Gino was like actually trying at this point. Yeah. To really have like a fight and get involved. So he just needed someone to hold him back so he could really show what he was capable of. Yeah. And it was funny because Rob and Florian had their backs were turned, so they had missed it. So they didn't see it until between the sheets. And they're like, oh, look at Gino. He was really trying. Then you find out in between the sheets, they were about ready to get into a fist fight. And Gino was saying some horrible stuff. He had rage in his eyes. Yeah. He was really angry. You find out that he was calling Florian later that night, apologizing. We're like, brothers, I'm so sorry. I love you. And like showing up at his room. Yeah. I don't know anything, but I do believe my conspiracy theory that Gino really wants to be with a man.
Can I tell you that I looked up if the little blue pill has a side effect of anger issues. And it does. It does. Yes. Because Florian says, I think that dude has an anger problem. And I thought, I wonder. And it does. It has a side effect of anger issue in some men. And for, however long he's been taking it, I wonder if it is a problem for him now. Maybe. Yeah.
And Gino's 55.
Yeah.
He's not a young guy. I don't know. Gino sucks. there was so much performative masculinity from him through this whole episode, and it all looked so awkward. At the very end, when they're all like saying goodbye to each other, and he like was shaking Florian's hand and like slapped him on the arm and like did like the man thing, and he did his like man angry face as he was thumping him on the back, and you could see Florian was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop touching me like this." I think Gino has some sort of identity crisis with his masculinity.
Yeah.
And doesn't know how to fix it and turns it into, well, I'm going to have sex with my wife. And for some reason is shocked that didn't work out well for him.
I completely agree.
Speaking of Florian, Stacey and Florian. Stacey was writing out all of her vows, getting ready for the ceremony. You could tell she was really putting a lot of work in and she was really thinking about it. And Florian walks through and she's like, "I'm writing my vows. What are you doing?" He's like, "I'll just speak from the heart." And she's like, "Or you could write some stuff down. You could plan a little bit of it out. That would be really nice. You know, put some deep thought into it." And he's like, "I think deeply. I'm fine. It's fine." And he just brushes her off. You just see in her eyes how disappointed she was. She's like, "I don't think he gets it. I don't think he gets it at all." Is this going to be the moment that it clicks for her and she's done? It hurt me to watch her have that happen. When she was like, "I just want you to really get it." And he's like, "I got it. It's fine. Whatever." He's so surface with all of it. You said it last time. He's like, "You said it's okay. It's okay."
Yeah. But
he's like, "I said sorry, so we're done."
You know, James said Florian is young. And I got to thinking about that. James also said Florian, he is not one person to do a lot of emoting, right? And he put it really well. And in his vows, he did the best that he could. And these were little baby steps for Florian. But what I want to say is I got to thinking everybody was judging Jasmine for this whole open marriage thing. But all of these couples, like Stacey and Florian, have this huge age gap, right? So I don't know where Stacey comes off judging Jasmine for wanting an open marriage, where she's got how many umpteen years between her and Florian, right? Where James even acknowledges how young Florian is, right? He wants to go out and party all the time. And Stacey is how old is Stacey? In her 50s or something? She wants to stay home and stay in bed. And Florian's young enough, he still wants to go out to a bar, right? And Rob and Sophie, right? They have umpteen years between the two of them, right? So why is Rob judging Gino and Jasmine again? Because Rob married a toddler, right? This is what I'm thinking to myself. These people need to shut the fuck up and stop judging Jasmine for being vulnerable. Neither of those two couples have come out and been as vulnerable as Jasmine has been. Come out 100%. And said all of the things that Jasmine has said, been emotionally vulnerable. Look at the two of them. They basically married toddlers, and, right? They have nowhere to talk. That's what I was thinking about when James was talking about Florian and trying to, and that's what Stacey constantly worries about with Florian. He's constantly going out all the time, right? Because he's umpteen years younger than you are. But nobody says anything to her about that. And nobody says anything to Rob about that. And how is that fair? I don't know. It just bothers me.
It's a weird double standard for sure. At the recommitment ceremony, Stacey actually went first.
Yeah.
And she had a full, massive, like, tiara on. And then she had a swimsuit on.
I know.
She was, that bikini that you and I loved, the white mosaic bikini, and then just like a little wrap skirt. And I was like, all right. Because it's the desert. It is cold at night. So how these women were out there and like barely anything, and the guys were like sitting there shivering. Oh my God.
I know.
And then she reads these vows, and they were really surprising. At the beginning, she's saying, there have been times that it's time to let you go. I don't know that you've taken this as seriously as I was hoping. I don't know that we're going to survive all of this. And then she's like, but I'm not leaving you, babe. And there, we're sticking it out. We've been doing this for almost 10 years. But then she puts in what her needs are. She's like, I am going to listen more and talk less. I need you to respect my boundaries. I need you to speak calmly and kindly to me. She laid out, all right, we're not throwing this away, but here's how we're moving forward. And I thought that she wrote them so eloquently. I was just very impressed with her, and I really liked it. And unfortunately, and I think James said this as well, I think it fell on deaf ears.
Yeah.
A couple of the times Florian starts talking about in interviews, and I think also there in the ceremony, he's like, I didn't really believe in therapy, but I came here and I worked really hard.
Yeah.
Did you buy into any of this at any point?
He worked Florian hard.
He worked Florian hard.
Right.
Which is, he made fun of men crying and half-assed all of it. And didn't really listen. But then he said all the things that we know those twins love.
Yeah.
Which is the surface bullshit of, I love you so much. You are my priority. You are my everything. I love you forever. And she's like, great. And then they recommitted and everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
So good for them. I'm glad. She says afterwards that she knows that things aren't perfect, but she's not willing to throw away almost 10 years of their relationship. And she's looking forward to making steps forward. She's like, I don't expect him to change overnight. This is going to take time, which I think is very mature, and I hope that he's able to match it. Although, great news, everyone. In between the sheets, Florian is asked if he's still hanging out with Darcy. And he said that he doesn't call Darcy anymore. Mm-hmm. She still calls him and tries to meet up with him, but he went out to dinner with some mutual friends, and she's like, oh, I'll come join. He was like, no, not tonight. You can't come.
Yeah.
And he's really respected that, and he's making that space. So it sounds like he's prioritizing his wife over his sister-in-law, which, that's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I did like that. I'm hopeful for them. I'm glad to hear that.
Let's do Sophie and Rob next.
Sophie and Rob. Okay, Sophie and Rob, I genuinely cried.
I did.
When she read her vows.
Yeah. I was confused at first, and I'm glad they told us what was going on in between the sheets, because when she said I wrote a letter to my younger self, I was like, what are we doing? Wait, what? But then
your vows are to Rob. Why are you writing your vows to yourself?
Right. Yeah. And I thought something's up.
Yeah. And we should have known a therapist was involved.
Yeah. Yeah. So we figure out that Heidi told her to do that. I love her. Yes. If I could have her as my therapist, I would. But yeah, she had a one-on-one with Heidi before. And we find out that Sophie had basically told her, look, we're just not getting anywhere, right? I don't feel like we're growing as a couple. I feel like I can't tell him my feelings. We're not progressing. And Heidi told her, why don't you write a letter to your younger self and tell her how it's going? And I really think you'll get some clarity by doing that. And so then that's where we're at with the recommitment ceremony. So yeah, that's how we get there. But they didn't explain that to us until between the sheets.
So it made no sense.
Right.
I actually thought of you and something that you said last week, which was, if you've been cheated on and your partner has tried to make amends, but you can't move forward and you can't forgive, then you need to end the relationship. Yeah. And Sophie brought up in that session with Heidi, for the last several days, we haven't talked about the past, and we're sitting there and spending time together. But I also know that I'm not allowed to bring any of that up. And that is why things are going well. And she's like, but I'm still thinking about it. It's still there for me. It was like she heard your advice from the future. which is like, I'm not getting over this. This isn't something that I'm letting go. So she's got to do it. So she reads the letter to herself. She says some really beautiful things. Then she says, you get through things. You're able to persevere. You even get married. And even though he's not your dream man, you was happy for a few years. And you just go, oh, she's doing it. Yeah. She's actually, and I think it was Heidi that said she was choosing herself for the first time. She spent so much time appeasing her mother when she was growing up because her mom's a drug addict. And then she's with Rob and she's trying to choose Rob and give Rob what he needs. Yep. And keeping herself safe at the same time. And she can't really do both. Yep. She's trying to do both. She can't do both. And she really just chose herself. And Sophie says, I think younger me would be proud of me and happy that I made this choice. I think future me is going to be happy that I made this choice. Right now, this sucks and it hurts. And she was a mess. Mm-hmm. But I was just so proud of her for making that choice in that moment. And it was the right choice. Yeah. So sad, though. So Rob goes, so I guess this is over then. This is it. That's it. And he just goes stone cold. Yep. And she goes, but I would really like to hear what you have to say. She's sobbing and crying. Mm-hmm. And he goes, it doesn't matter what I have to say. And she's like, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm always going to love you. I don't want to hurt you. We're not happy. And he's like, I'm not happy either. She's like, I know. And I want you to be happy. And I want to be happy. We can't keep doing this. And he's just like, done. Yep. And later on, he starts talking about how he feels so used in this relationship. He feels like she used their relationship to figure out that she had childhood trauma, and now she's going to go work through that on her own and become a better person, and he just is in the wreckage of that. Yeah. Rob, you chose a child. Yeah. That when you guys got serious, you knew about her childhood. Yeah. And you were surprised that she still needed to process that. Yeah. And then you're pissed at her for needing to work through and process that and continue to grow into an adult because she's not a fully formed adult at 20. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And he's tearing apart Jasmine. I cannot find, there's so many times that I've appreciated his input, but him as a person living in this world, interacting with these people does so much more harm than good. And he is so triggered by the shit with Jasmine. Yeah. Because he refuses to see that she's a victim at all in this. Like he only sees Gino as a victim. Yeah. Which is so fucking irritating. And he will attack everybody and tell everybody else why they're wrong and they're a piece of shit. And he takes zero accountability for anything. And he has made himself into the victim of having to be emotionally supportive to his wife, who he chose to marry, having childhood trauma that was unprocessed. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking insane to me. Yeah. And even Ari said in between the sheets, she goes, I think it was super selfish that Rob didn't read his letter to Sophie to give her some sort of closure, either that he wanted to commit or recommit, because, Sophie gave him that closure, and for him to deny her of that, he was just being really spiteful. And again, just not giving that to her is just showing her and everybody what kind of person he is. And that Sophie was really right. Every time Sophie would try to tell Rob, she said, every time I would tell Rob my feelings, he would take it as a personal attack and they could never work through it. It was always, what do I do? What do I do? How do I figure this out? It's always, I did something wrong. And so she would never tell him anything. And that's exactly what he said. He said, right, I wanted to ask her, what do you want to do with the rest of our lives? And she would never give me a clear answer. And any answer I gave her was never a good enough answer. Okay, you just talked in a circle right there, right? Because
he blamed her for everything. She could never say the right thing because everything she said was her feelings, right? When someone blames you for your feelings, that is wrong, right? You can't be with a person who blames you for your feelings. So, and that's what he was doing the entire time. It was terrible.
He sucks.
Yeah.
And you know who, very similar to him, Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can't get away from him. So Josh is gone.
Yeah.
Josh has broken up with Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
In the side interviews, the exit interviews, the between the sheets, he starts talking about how it was actually really hurtful and offensive of Natalie to not be more upset that they were breaking up, that he was breaking up with her. Because he really, along with their relationship, they have a friendship. And she was just going to throw that away. Are you fucking serious, Josh?
Yeah.
That he genuinely thinks that he was hurt by her not wanting to stay connected to him.
Yeah.
After he's dumped her.
No.
These men.
No.
I can't. And Josh is another guy that's fully on Team Gino.
Yeah.
I can't believe she would do this to you. This is awful. She's really put you into a bad corner. How could she put you in this awful position? She's really used you.
Oh, yeah.
She's been honest every step of the way.
That's all her
Other
fault.
than the fact that she probably didn't tell Gino, he's buying me groceries because you refused to get vegan food at our house.
And that's the crime of the century, isn't it? Oh, man.
I mean,
horrible.
Fuck off this guy. These awful dudes.
Woo.
Ugh. Then we also have Brandon and Julia. And they, I think, are the only couple, other than like for 2 seconds with Stacey and Flo, that actually spent real time together before the ceremony.
Yeah.
So they have a cute little picnic before the recommitment ceremony, and Brandon is just so happy.
Mm-hmm.
He's thrilled. He's happy. They're reconnecting. They sit down. Julie is very direct with him. And she's like, hey, I've said when we get back, I'm going to go get a second opinion on my fertility. And he's like, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And she's like, you asked for that and I said I would do it. You have not given me an answer about my parents. And he's like, yeah.
Oops. There's that. And it ends up escalating. I get where Brandon's coming from. That is massive. And Brandon gives her pushback. He's like, you didn't talk to me about this. This is huge. We need to plan. We need to figure this out. Instead, you're just throwing it on me, and I don't feel like this is in the best interest of our family. So I don't think I'm supportive. She's like, all right, well, if you're not supportive of my parents coming and you're not going to help, don't show up to the recommitment ceremony. Just ultimatum, it's this or nothing. Whoops.
Basically. I think Heidi was like, I don't know that was necessary.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been working this through, and I don't know how necessary that was. Get his hesitation on it. And I don't think it was fair that she said that either. But also, she's with his family all the time, so maybe he needs to figure it out. I just had such conflicting feelings in that moment, because even though I feel like I see where she's coming from and I think she has a right to ask for those things, the logical part of my brain is totally Team Brandon on that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, part of me, I don't know a whole lot about him, but part of me watching them, maybe he needs a kick in the ass sometimes. Maybe that was the only thing that she could think of to wake him up. I don't know. But Heidi was right, because maybe someday Julie will say, I don't know if he's here because of the ultimatum or because he wants to be. I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard thing to know. But maybe Julia won't even think about that too, because Julia is kind of a little self-absorbed. She is kind of like that. I don't know.
I think it's also styles of decision making.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a spectrum, right? There's situational nuance to it. But in general, I'm the kind of person that I go, that one. And then I've decided that, and I go forward with that decision. Whereas my husband, Matt, likes to research. He likes to take time. He needs to weigh the pros and cons. It takes for fucking ever, and it drives me crazy. Just pick one and go. Mm-hmm. And Matt is not that way at all, which in a lot of ways has really saved us.
Yeah.
Because he's made thoughtful decisions.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of other time where I'm like, we don't need a thoughtful decision.
Yeah.
We just have to go.
Yeah.
Right? I'm an impulsive person. I don't know if you'd noticed that. We have 5 cats. And I just I go, something strikes my fancy, and I go, ooh, and then I do it. And then Matt's like, what the fuck, just, where did that? I'm like, yeah, but this is delightful. Look at how great our life is. And he's like, okay, great. Does it always work out? Not necessarily. But in general, it's more good than bad. I'm not doing dumb things.
Yeah.
Hugely dumb, horrific things. But Brandon says that she will just take the risk. She'll just make a split-second decision, has no plan. And he's like, I need a plan for this. She has to respect that there needs to be some kind of balance for him to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But I also see where he's like, half the time, rather than sitting there and weighing it out, the second that he maybe hits resistance or there's a couple too many cons, he just goes, no.
Yeah.
I think that's why she's saying it in front of people.
Yeah.
Because she's forcing him to think it out and talk it out in front of people.
No, I agree.
Instead of having the option of just saying no.
Yeah.
Because he might not move forward.
Yeah,
and
that's
Matt
true.
and I've experienced that. So, how about you and Steve? Planners? Impulsive?
He's impulsive more than I am. I'm more of a planner, but I don't need that much time to plan. I don't know. I think we're pretty equal on both of those things. But he
sounds nice.
Yeah, he gets annoyed with me in the planning though. He gets to a certain point where, okay, you've had enough time planning. Let's not keep planning anymore. And I'll say, no, I need some more time, kind of a thing. Sometimes I'll relent, sometimes I won't. It depends on the situation. Like for vacations, right? You know, if we want to plan a vacation to Hawaii, you know, that I will take more time planning. He will just book the flight, and then we're in trouble because then we're all not sitting together. We're on a shitty airplane. We're on a red eye in the middle of the fucking night. No, we're not fucking doing that. So then we're planning. He's more impulsive with that kind of stuff. So that's a problem. Going shopping, I need to plan that. He's like, we're going shopping. We're not, need to be in the store for an hour. I need to be in the store for an hour. And then that's a problem for him. You know what I mean? So that kind of situation he gets annoyed with, then I'm in the store for an hour. And so I can kind of see why he's annoyed, right? We don't need to be in Walmart for an hour, but I'm just like, do, kind of a thing. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I get it. I get that.
That's the problem.
Well, I think probably being closer matched is probably really nice. Matt and I are farther apart on the spectrum. So there's, in a lot of ways, it's very helpful that we can balance each other out. And then in other ways, it causes a lot of tension. But we've figured it out.
Yeah, I do have a house full of, Facebook Marketplace things. So he does have the whole spontaneity thing going on. You know that.
I know. Well, when we visited, Steve found out that Matt liked Star Wars, and then found the Tauntaun sleeping bag that Matt, I think it's like Pottery Barn, I think. And Matt had been wanting it for a long time. Yeah. And somehow Steve found it, and then it just showed up, which was delightful and wonderful. So it's actually for Steve, that it's worked out really well.
I know.
And I think that's probably also another reason why it's good that Steve doesn't have Facebook on his phone. Because I think your house would be, you have a very nice house. It's very nicely organized. You keep everything very neat. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
I can see the floor.
Like style. You can see the floor. Not that my house is a mess, but and I'm just as bad as Matt. Like, we have a lot. I haven't bought the 75-gallon fish tank, but I've gotten close. I'll find shit on there, and I'm like, we should just go get this. And Matt's like, that's 2 hours away, and I'm like, but it's $25. We should go get it. Oh, it's not healthy, but Brandon and Julia, we should go back to them. So they go to the recommitment ceremony, starts, and I thought it was very sweet. She full circled it, and she brought the rocks.
Yeah.
And she was like, look, here's the baby rock. I'm going to go do what you needed me to do. I'm going to go get a second opinion, and then we are going to figure out how to start our family.
Yeah.
And then she chucks the rock right at Gino. Yeah. It was great.
Perfect.
He almost got hit. It looked like he could have had a broken foot. And then she's like, so, and then here's the parents' rock. What are you thinking? And he goes, we're going to figure it out. We can do it. And he chucks that rock. And I really enjoyed that they brought those back.
Yeah.
This thing that they continued to carry. They took that really seriously. And it still made me laugh that she was like, yeah, I picked a really big rock on purpose. It was so big.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, yeah, I'm going to help figure this out. And I want to move forward and I want to do this together. And I think it felt really positive and really sweet and supportive. I think that they have a real chance. We'll figure out what actually happens when they all get back together at the reunion. But it all seemed really nice. And then they were talking about regrets in between the sheets. And he said that he would do this whole thing all over again. And he was really happy with it. And the only thing he regrets is that he called Julia a whore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's good.
That is good.
That's a good one. So that was quite sweet. And I think you and I both kind of predicted that.
Yeah, I thought so.
Natalie was also there. Did you notice that all the women dressed in white? I don't think that was planned by the show. I think the women on their own decided to do that. And so Natalie went with all the women before the ceremony and got ready. And they were all just kind of very sweetly checking in on her. Even Sophie, who was being a real bitch in between the sheets, was like, yeah, I think she probably shouldn't be alone right now, and let's see how she's going. So it was really nice. They all get ready together, and then they all walk into the ceremony together, and Natalie walks down the aisle like it's a runway. Did you notice that?
I know.
Like a model. And her hair's like flowing. She looked great.
Yeah.
It was just like, Natalie, who are you? You're walking to Sarah and Heidi. Yeah. Like, who are you impressing right now? Yeah. Josh is gone. He's not there. I did like how they acknowledged her, and they were like, you're committing to yourself, and we're really proud you went through this process. And did it save the relationship? No, but this is about your relationship with yourself now. And you can do, I thought that was really nice, and I liked how they acknowledged her in that way. I thought that was good.
I did too.
And I think she's going to be just fine after all is said and done. I liked that her only regret about everything is that they didn't finish the show with a party at Josh's house. That would have actually, let's say that they worked out and that they end the ceremony at a party at Josh's house, and it's like, what? That would have been fun, and it would have answered so many questions for you and I. Yeah. Right? Grand finale. Who do we really want to talk about? It's Gino and Jasmine.
Yeah.
Jasmine had a full-on wedding dress.
Oh, I know.
Everyone else was in, like, white dresses. Jasmine's was a wedding dress.
Yeah.
I mean, a slutty wedding dress. But it was a gown. Mm-hmm. And a crown. She had a little tiara on as well. That I think was a bracelet from House of 11.
Yeah.
Stacey. That they had pinned in her hair. But it looked great. She gets up with Gino. Gino, who, by the way, is in the most ridiculous outfit. It is this bright red, way too big, button-up shirt and slacks, and a black tie, and then a bright red fedora. It looked like something out of a bad 90s prom.
Oh,
it just looked horrible.
Well, his hat was pulled all the way down. Yeah. Near his eyebrows. I don't know why it was pulled down so far.
I mean, he doesn't ever wear a hat well.
Yeah.
I do like how he chooses a hat to match his mood.
Sure.
When he had to have the uncomfortable phone call with Matt, he had a sad gray baseball cap on backwards. Mm-hmm. I like his sad hat, and then he had the recommitment red hat. Oh, Jasmine does her vows first. And she just really hammers home, I love you. I've made a choice to love you. And I will love you forever. And I'm committed to figuring out how to make this work. It was really nice.
Yeah. And what does he say? Are you done? Is that it?
Are you done? Is that it?
What kind of response is that? If I tell Steve, I'm going to choose you every day, I love you, and I'm crying, I love you, I'm going to choose you every day, you just make me feel so good, blah, blah, blah. And he looks at me and goes, is that it? Are you done? I am going to just gut punch him and just run away. Like, what the fuck is that? I was so mad and so disappointed. And she was just like, yes.
She just spilled all of her guts.
I know.
It was so beautiful. And he's like, are you done now?
Yeah.
He is a Tim Robinson character. Matt's been saying it since we first started watching them.
Right.
He looks like he's on, I think you should leave. He seems like he's a human bit. Like how is this a real person?
Yes. Oh
It's
my
so
God.
It's so gross. It's so crazy. And then he stumbles through his, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. I love you. Jasmine then goes, let's be clear. Are you saying that you would like to move forward with our open marriage and that we will include Matt in this? And he's like, yes. He didn't like that. He didn't want that.
No.
He didn't think that they were going to have anything other than this superficial conversation.
Yeah.
Jasmine is going in very clear.
Yeah.
So we're good. So I can't go to the gym with Matt, but we're going to go bone as soon as I hit the tarmac in Michigan.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing about it is Gino's like, wait, you got what's happening? He seems shocked by the whole thing. This whole thing that he created is really unraveled in therapy.
Yeah.
He did cry when he was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
He got really emotional. And I think he, it's because he just sees how fucking dumb he looks. And again, I think that Jasmine is a bitch. I think that when she starts ripping apart Rob, which I understand why she was ripping apart Rob, but I don't think that she was correct. She was like, Rob, if you had concentrated half on your relationship with Sophie as much as you did on my marriage, maybe you would have walked out with Sophie.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's true. But I don't think that she was malicious in this process. I don't think she was trying to be tricky. Mm-mm. I don't think that she was trying to be sly. I don't think she was lying to Gino. Mm-mm. I think she was just trying to figure out how to stay with Gino.
Yeah.
And she found a weird little loophole that for some reason she got some traction with, and then it just literally made everything fall apart for Gino.
Yeah.
So that's the end. That's the end of that show until the reunion.
Yeah.
And you sent me the sneak peek of the reunion. Spoilers, everyone. Uh-huh. Jasmine's pregnant. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But she's 100% definitely pregnant.
Oh, God, yeah. And they give her the evil eye. Every single person in there is so mean to her. And it's so hard to watch. But in the little trailer, she full on is going to fight Rob. Like, she gets up and is going to bar fight him right in front of Sean. And it's awesome. It looks awesome.
It looks awesome.
I can't wait.
Well, Rob cannot shut the fuck up.
He calls her a whore. Of course, it's the woman's fault. Of course. Mm-hmm. That's how it works, because we get ourselves pregnant. You betcha. That's what we do.
Rob is so triggered by her.
Oh, God, yeah.
She makes him so upset. Mm-hmm. And I think it's exactly what we talked about last time. I think it's the fact that she is having the conversations in daylight, asking for what she needs. Yep. If Sophie had tried to have those conversations, he would scream and yell at her. and she would shrink down and be quiet and not say anything. And then he's blindsided that she left. Whereas Jasmine's like, no, I can't keep doing this. I love you. I want to figure this out, but I can't do it like this. And Gino's like, well, I'm not going to have sex with you. And she's like, so then I can have sex with someone else? And Rob's like, no, you can't do that. That's not allowed. It's like, it's not allowed for you. Maybe it would have if you would ask. Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Right.
As my dad would say.
Right.
How come Chelsea got that? Oh, because squeaky wheel gets the oil. Oh,
right.
That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
That's a lesson I learned from my sister. Call it out, man. And you know what? I think Rob might actually do super well in an open relationship, right? Because he can't stop texting. If he was in a relationship where he was allowed to go explore other things, maybe he would do all right. I'll tell you right now, he's a younger guy. My stepsister was over, and she was getting back on Hinge. You and I have missed this whole cultural phenomenon of the online dating, swiping left, swiping right, all this. So I was like, let me do it. So I was going through her Hinge. I learned very quickly that she and I have very different taste in men. So I was not her favorite in that sense. But, oh my God, you literally can go, yep, no, into it, not into it, very, very quickly. No wonder people have a hard time committing, because there's like 12 other options that I could get in 2 seconds on my phone.
Nice.
And they're solid. I mean, based on the little bit of information you get, like, I would go on a date with that guy.
Right.
That looks awesome. I think I would be really good at online dating.
Okay.
I don't want to do it because I'm happily married, but it looks like a lot of fun that I think I would have been really good at. Actually, it's probably like Steve not having Facebook Marketplace on his phone. It's actually probably for the best that I never had Hinge.
Okay. Nice.
I just worked all of that out full circle. To talk it out.
Sweet.
Have you ever seen it? Like, have you ever played on those apps?
No.
You haven't ever? Yeah. I don't have enough single friends to have seen it before.
No.
It is wild. That's gotta fuck with you.
That's amazing. But I'm excited for the tell-all next week.
It's gonna be so good. So we've got the tell-all / reunion. I don't know how many episodes it is. So we've already talked it out. Depending on that, we've got possibly some true crime before we start the Valley.
Yes.
Possibly. Very excited about it.
Yay.
It's gonna be so good. Yay. All right. Anything else before we send them off?
I don't think so. That was a lot.
All right. That was a lot. It's not too bad. It's actually, we did very good. I'm just saying, I think this was the perfect show. To get our whole podcast figured out, and now we are seasoned. We've got our structure built, and we are ready for the Valley in the best way.
Yes.
So excited.
Yay.
Jackson, his cocaine problem.
Kristen in her mouth.
Kristen and her baby.
And her baby.
All the pregnancies. It's going to be good. All right.
Okay.
Well, have an awesome rest of your week.
Okay.
It's got to be better than the beginning of it.
Oh, yeah. It'll get better.
So, it'll be good. All right. Goodbye, everybody.